Hello, all. So, another episode of Doctor Who dropped, and you know, you just have to give an IP kudos for finally, you know, being held to the mark. Like the Doctor says, it's nice to see a return to form, an episode that's actually enjoyable, even though it's about a war. So yes, it's the third, fourth episode, whatever, of Doctor Who, and it's called Boom. It is actually very good for everything about it, basically. It starts off, the Doctor and Ruby are in the middle of a battlefield, just some battlefield on some planet, somewhere at some time, and the Doctor hears help or a scream. Yeah, he hears a scream, goes to investigate, steps on a landmine. Ruby comes out, she stumbles upon the Doctor, and the Doctor is balancing basically almost entirely throughout this episode. He's just balancing on this landmine, keeping his heart rate low. I guess keeping it so low that the sensor says whether or not an inanimate object has fallen on the mine or a living person has stepped on the landmine. It's kind of unclear exactly, but he says he needs to keep his heart rate and blood pressure down to fold the sensor. So I'm guessing it's that. And he says, and Ruby, and I like this when characters do point out things, the audience would point out and question and kind of answer it. Um, like I was telling Ken the other day, like, when a character walks in and normally has a beard, and then they walk in one episode in the middle of the season and their beard's gone. It's like, oh yeah, I see you shaved. Goes, yeah, I did it for the wife. So I like that. Like Ruby asks, like, why is there LED lights on this mine for? Like, what's the point of that? He goes, oh, it's for a show. This is a corporate, military, uh, 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 military ordinance or whatever, stuff. So when you're demonstrating it, it has to be flashy and kind of, has a visual effect to it. So having the LED lights go around like that before it blows up is supposed to showcase, you know, theater, be a spectacle, be something to watch when you're saying, yeah, and we can supply you with this if you pay us enough. We can supply you with all these neat looking contraptions. So yeah, this is a corporate war or a corporate backed war, and it's the religious military people we saw from the Stephen Moffat era, because this is written by Stephen Moffat. I was like, oh, cool, we have Stephen Moffat again. That's cool. And he's now an executive producer of the show now, thankfully. Uh, and I always like Stephen Moffat's episodes more often than not. They're not all perfect, mind you, but he does get theme and grandeur and scale of the world you're in, which is what first gave me the contrast between Stephen Moffat and, oh god, what was his name? I hate it when I blank on people. His immediate predecessor, the guy who did the David Tennant era, basically. Because there was a difference in scale. Like they show, like they pull back for the establishing shot, like how big or what's our setting. Basically, it's more the establishing shot and showing how big it is, not just like this takes place on a space station. Because no, it's a big ass space station. This is from the outside, so you get the sense of scale and grandeur to it. So he shows that in this, that you're on another world. We're like the moon of Endor. We're like, hey, look, that's like Saturn up in the sky, and it looks big and impressive. So the setting is nice, the acting is nice, the writing is nice. The Doctor sings a couple of songs to try and keep his mood even. Because remember, like I said, he is bouncing on a landmine throughout like 95% of this episode. Uh, so it's Jodie Gatwa, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, uh, balancing on a landmine like this, and saying the entire script basically. The ones that got pretty tiring for him. So that's probably why they did a bunch of headshots. So it's like you don't have to see him just like standing, with two legs instead of one for about like 40 minutes. So So, having found their predicament, finding this war, the doctor knows certain things about the people, the technology, because he's seen it before. He knows, like, yeah, I know what this is. Situation, the stakes. But now, before this was Judy Gottwall comes in as the kind of bohemian doctor, the celebration y traveling doctor. He's no longer moody or downtrodden or, you know, looking like he's trying to escape his problems like a lot of the other doctors, particularly post, you know, post Time War. This is more of just, I am just I am on a walkabout to just have fun because I'm a fun guy. So he's not looking for fun. He is having fun, as opposed to David Tennant, it's basically, or not quite as much as Matt Smith. But anyway, yeah. So this is a doctor that's a lot more over it. But this is a doctor now that's been forced into this tense situation where he's backed in the corner, backed in the corner, backed in the corner, and it's all like something has to give, and the doctor has to try and fix the situation while being stuck in on top of this landmine where everyone else keeps trying to say I'm a threatening and proclaiming, and him trying to tell you no, don't threaten, and no, I am about to blow up. It's like no, get away from me, no, please stop aggravating the damn situation. But everyone seems to get that because, well, we're at war. You're like, what else are we going to do? We're soldiers. And the doctor just sticks it to everybody, all the damn soldiers. It's like, no, you blithering idiot. This is a corporate war, not a real war. And they hired the perfect, well, not fall people, but the perfect saps for it. Uh, he says, well, where's your enemy? Well, we're fighting this such and such enemy. We believe they're in the mud or in the mist. I don't know. We haven't seen them in 6 months. But since we got here, we fired our weapons in the sky and proclaimed we are here. We're fighting this war. We have casualties, but it's not in combat. It's because they step on their own landmines. I know. It sounded kind of preposterous, but yet it makes all the sense in the world, too. When the doctor starts to explain that to them, it's like, you idiots, you were suckered into a war, a corporate war, when you're fighting nobody. And he says, well, why it makes you the perfect saps? Because you're a religion based military. You have faith. Get it? You took the word of somebody who doesn't care about life, some executive corporate shill, and he said, go over there and fight this war. And so you did. You believed him. You went, or them, or whatever, the corporation. And they said they'll back you, they'll give you the weapons. But then all your casualties for your war to sustain your war, you know, are basically you stepping on your own landmines. You getting blown up by your own ordnance and not realizing you're not fighting any enemy. You're just accidentally tripping over your own feet. And I rather like that. The doctor just kind of sticks it to them while standing on this landmine and them pointing guns at him. And yeah, okay. I saw a couple of reviews where they say that the little girl in this story is way too old to be that stupid. That her dad dies and says, "Look, there's all this drama going on, but I'm going to talk to my AI virtual dad right over here and look at pictures of when we went to the zoo." It's like she's completely detached from the scene completely, and it's like, what is wrong with her? Is she so desensitized from violence that she just doesn't care? Possibly. So again, but the acting is really good. The doctor is portrayed very well. The doctor sings a song about it's somebody saying that don't cry. There's more to life than the moon and the president's wife, and he says that little ditty twice. And if you would remember back with Peter Capaldi in, oh, what was it, Heaven Sent, or yeah, I think it was Heaven Sent, or the one where the doctor goes back to Gallifrey and they're trying to get it out of the not the Matrix, but where the Matrix is held, the computer system where the Matrix is held. I forget what's called, the catacombs, I think. But anyway, that area, and the Doctor says and comments that what the Master had said before, that the Doctor and all the other Time Lords said that the Doctor one night uh, stole the moon and the president's wife. But the Doctor clarifies kind of offhandedly, because he's busy working, that it wasn't the president's wife. It was his daughter, and I didn't steal the moon. I lost it. And the Missy at the time said that there were two truths and one lie. Thing where he says that that the Doctor had kidnapped the president's wife and the moon, and was a little girl, because it says one of those is a lie. And so when the Doctor proclaims, "Oh no, I didn't steal the president's wife. It was his daughter, and uh, I didn't steal the moon. I lost it." But then we find out later on that the Doctor, as begrudging as it is for the timeless child, yes, the Doctor is now a little girl. Moving on. So nice little callback to that, of this little song, which I think is the song that the Time Lords would kind of like sing, in praise, because the Doctor is this big legend on Gallifrey. That would be their song about, oh, this Doctor, he stole the president's wife, and the moon, and made a song about it. Such an impressive thing. Like, you stole the moon, dude. That's kind of something to be legendary about, on top of being a legend already. So the Doctor sings this to try to be calm. So I'm pretty sure that's going to come into play later. Um, and so we hear this little AI robot Granny come in on this little robot, and she's singing so sweet, like Martha Stewart, you know, comes in and it's like saying, "Oh, you have you'll take four weeks to recover." Well, that's too long. Bye, and then smelts them down into a canister that has their AI, you know, uploaded so be interactive, and it just adds more to the horror of this corporate war, you know. And so they kill you just to not save face, but like perpetuate this war. That's another casualty. Well, bring in another one. You know, so they can count amongst the casualties that this war is actually progressing somehow. Without an actual enemy. So the corporation keeps getting rich, while the military people just keep dying. That's the whole point. Uh, so you just watch it for yourself. Trust me, it is a joy to watch. I cannot stress enough that we finally get the Doctor actually having a hard moment, where he can easily slip back into the war Doctor threatening thing. But he doesn't threaten. He just says, "No, I'm telling you the fact. If this thing goes, it's going to take me up. I am not a regular humanoid. I am a higher being. I am a Time Lord here. If this thing goes, I will destroy this whole place. So please stop aggravating me. I'm the only thing standing between you and total annihilation." Again, but this is the Doctor not threatening. He's telling them this because he doesn't want to blow up. But if they keep aggravating the situation and him, then his heart rate might go up enough to things say, "Hey, it is a living thing that's standing on me," and then blow up. Or actually explode the Doctor anyway, because he uses his own mass to blow him up. Think, what's his face? The guy that blows up people in Full Metal Alchemist. You know, I forget what his name was. He had a title. But anyway, and we hear Ruby's was in the system. It's like, wait, how is she that old? Or is this just like it previously has her record and says, "Oh, here's Ruby alive again"? clearly still alive, even though from the last time we saw her, I'm guessing. And so it's next of kin, but gets kind of caught up on next of kin. It's like, I guess it's searching for it and can't find it, I guess. But it kept saying next of kin, next of kin, next of kin. And she's like, what? As she's dying because she got blasted. And saying, next of kin, who is my next of kin? It's like, that is a good question. Are they going to answer that this season? Is there going to be a next season? I don't know. That gets weird behind the scenes. I don't know. So I'm hoping they bother to answer the things they set up. Because I don't know if there's another season or not. With Hollywood and everything. I mean, they got rid of He Who Remains. So there goes that whole story. So, I mean, Kang the Conqueror was going to be the next big thing. The next big Thanos or, Apocalypse or Ultron, whatever have you. But then it's like, no, we ran into trouble behind the scenes with the actor. So, nah, we're not going to do that. It's like, okay. Oh, there it goes. I mean, they fired Roseanne after her first introductory season for a text. So, yeah. I'm really hoping that they smooth this out and keep these people for this following season so they can wrap this up if they have to. Honestly, I wish they don't. And kind of just wrap this all up now in this season so nothing's left hanging. Or something. I don't know. It's just Hollywood's just being difficult, honestly. Like back in the day, you had a scandal, but it was never really the end of your career. But nowadays it's like you just say the wrong thing and you're just lost your career. It's like, criminy. It's like no one can really speak their opinion anymore without the world turning on them. Ugh. Anyway, so the doctor manages to talk everything down, explain everything out, and they manage to. I'm gonna have to watch that again because it's just so much so much emotion, so much drama, and callbacks, but it's all well balanced. Nothing feels forced. It all just feels natural dialogue. It pulls you in, and it is just a hard drama episode after the whimsies we've had, with Ruby Road and with the goblins, Goblin King, and the not so misunderstood monster of space babies. Yeah, yeah. But this is a proper opinion episode of what the bad guy, like what the not adversity opposing force is, like what is the antagonistic force here, like who's the bad guy, what's the bad thing. And it's just you were duped into just having the sustainable war. That's it. you know you're shooting at shadows and where you think it is. So again, it's a really, really good Stephen Moffat Doctor Who episode. It plays to all his strengths, um, and I'm guessing the reason the girl is just so clocked out is because she was raised in a war zone. She has a military, mother and father, or environment. So I guess the reason she just is so checked out of this is because, like a child, it's like, oh, just ignore it. That's just war going on right there. I'm talking to my dad and looking at, like Facebook or whatever, looking at the time we went to the zoo. Look at that. We're seeing the giraffes, you know. So if you understand it that way, that she's desensitized from war completely, then that makes sense. But I guess you kind of have to think about it a little bit more. But yeah, again, uh, no complaints on any regard. This is a proper Doctor Who thing. Judy Gatwa is in top form. The writing's in top form. And I am curious about the next episode. And soon I'll talk about the X-Men 97 series as well, since the trailer thing, because we've come a long way, and I have some opinions about that. Lots of opinions. Lots of head scratching, yes. Very. So, to all you Doctor Whovians out there, don't give up hope. It's looking good. I'm just saying, for right now at the moment, it's looking good. How it's all going to pay off at the end of the season, and whether or not we're going to get a season 2 with these characters, or at all with anything, I don't know. But I hope we do, because this is choice Doctor Who again. So here's me hoping. Here's me hoping. All right, take care. Bye.